Good evening to all the students. I hope my voice is good and clear to all of you. Am I audible to everyone? Great. So we will just wait for a few seconds and a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, and then we will start. So last time we had taken 2 reading comprehension. This time, so we will keep on discussing alternately reading comprehension and VA. So a mixed bag of questions, and also simultaneously we would be discussing thanks. Okay. So the agenda would be that we will keep on switching from one to the other. So reading comprehension, verbal ability, they both are equally important. And I have been telling people that 25% of your marks should come from VA. That has to be the ideal, at least the bare minimum. If you can get all 10 correct, that's wonderful. But I always feel that at least 5 can be easily obtained. 5 questions can be got correct in this. Okay, anyways, we will see. And as we discuss, we will also discuss the strategy. In case if you see a difficult question, what should you do? And we will implement these things in the sectional tests and the mocks that we write, correct? So people, I hope most of you went through the last session that I had taken, the RC session. I had discussed one of the most difficult reading comprehension that I have ever come across. And I found that initially we had around 90 odd students. By the time I reached halfway into that RC, almost 30 had left, almost 25 had left. The reason is that many of us don't have the tenacity. So I don't say that you should feel bored or give up. The idea is that you should try to learn as much as possible. But in the exam time and on the exam day, you should always keep yourself away from the questions which are likely to disturb you. I hope you understand the meaning of disturb you. To disturb you basically means to disorient you. So for example, if you do something which is slightly tantalizing, see, there's a difference between a cakewalk and tantalizing question. A cakewalk is something which is like you just go and attempt and you have got it. It could be like banking questions, IBPS, bank PO questions, SSC, CGL questions. They're very easy, they're not difficult. But a tantalizing question is something that is slightly challenging, though it is not very intimidating. Tantalizing basically means logical, slightly challenging, and interesting. So these are the bulk of the CAT questions. So it's not that you have to go into the very tough zone. Never go into the very tough zone. Always go into the doable zone. And if you can distinguish between these two, then the kind of questions that you pick would be much more on the doable side than on the difficult side. Okay, anyways, that's a part of the strategy. So I will start with the discussion right away. And this is the first question. It is about the odd sentence. It tells us that choose a sentence that does not fit into the sequence, correct? So you have 5 sentences. Now, the first thing is, many of you can try to attempt the question and see what exactly it is. And please tell me your answers. So people have given answer 3. How would you start with this question, by the way? If you want to do a parajumble, how would you go ahead with this question? Suppose if this were a parajumble question, how would we go ahead with the arrangement? So take odd sentence also as a way of arranging the paragraph. Which would be the first sentence? Science cannot produce ideas by which we could live. A simple sentence likely to open the paragraph. So science cannot produce the ideas by which we could live. And then it says, even the greatest ideas of science are nothing more than working hypotheses. useful for the purpose of special research, but completely inapplicable to the conduct of our lives or the interpretation of the world. So TK 4-5 looks like good, and 3 says never has science been more triumphant, never has man's power over his environment been more complete, nor his progress faster. That study has its own value, which I am not inclined to belittle. It tells him a great deal about how things work in nature or in engineering, but it tells him nothing about the meaning of life, and it can in no way cure his estrangement and secret despair. So we have to connect this sentence. This is very important because this sentence looks as if it is slightly off the track. It's not very clear as to what exactly it is talking about. It says that study has its own value. So which study? What value? We don't know. It says that study has its own value, which I am not inclined to belittle. It tells him a great deal about how things work in nature or in engineering, but it tells him nothing about the meaning of life. So the author seems to be a bit critical. He says it tells him nothing about the meaning of life. So what exactly he is referring to when he says that it tells him nothing about the meaning of life? It is most likely to be science, correct? So the author says even the greatest ideas of science are nothing more than working hypotheses, useful for purposes of special research, but completely inapplicable to the conduct of our lives or the interpretation of the world. Science cannot produce ideas by which we could live. And then 2 says, if therefore a man seeks education because he feels estranged and bewildered, because his life seems to him empty and meaningless, he cannot get what he is seeking by studying any of the natural sciences, that is by acquiring know-how. So did you understand what exactly is the theme of the passage? Sometimes you may not understand how to jumble the paragraph, but you would get the theme immediately, wherein 4 sentences or 3 sentences are going in one direction, and there is one sentence which is not in that direction. So in odd sentences, it is not the arrangement that will fetch you the marks. Sometimes by identifying the similarity of the ideas, you can easily pick the odd one out. Now, what exactly is happening in sentences 5, 4, 2, and 1? Did you understand this? It says that it tells him nothing about the meaning of life. That means the author says that science tells him nothing about the meaning of life. And then he says science cannot produce ideas by which we could live. That means science is slightly incapable. Even the greatest ideas of science are nothing but a working hypothesis, useful for purpose of special research, but completely inapplicable to the conduct of our life. So science is inapplicable to the conduct of life. Science tells us something about the meaning of life, and science cannot produce ideas by which we could live. So science versus life seems to be the equation in this paragraph. Science cannot give us ideas by which we could live. Science is inapplicable to the conduct of our lives, and science tells him nothing about the meaning of life. So I see that there is a definite transition happening between 4 and 5, and then from 5 it goes to 1. Don't you feel that, everyone? That seems to be a negative criticism, as if science might be capable of lots of things, but it is not able to tell us how to live. Agree or disagree? Did you spot the similarity and the continuity of this 4, 5, and 1? Correct? Now, you know that 4, 5, and 1 are going together. We will not worry about the sequence, because the sequence could be 4, 5, 1, 4, 1, 5. But we know that 4 will open the paragraph, 5 takes it ahead, and 1 further elaborates it. Now, between 2 and 3, you have to choose, and immediately you get the right answer. Where 3 says, never has science been more triumphant, never has man's power over his environment been more complete, nor his progress faster. So when you say that never has science been more triumphant, never has man's power over his environment been more complete. So if you are giving 3, then what is the necessity of criticizing science in 4, 5, and 1? So immediately you realize that 3 seems to be the odd one, because it is talking about science's triumph, whereas 4, 5, and 1 are talking about science's limitation, if not failure. And that is where 2 also goes with 4, 5, 1, and 2 can come in the end. 2 says, if therefore a man seeks education because he feels estranged and bewildered, because his life seems to him empty and meaningless, he cannot get what he is seeking by studying any of the. So again, he says that science cannot give you lots of things. Why not 5 as an opening sentence? See, Anurup, when you see the word even, this is always used for emphasis. I'm always, it is highly unlikely for someone to start a paragraph with even. See, suppose if I want to open a story and I say that even the best of the students find it difficult to crack CAT. So I should say before that that CAT is a difficult exam. CAT is a difficult exam, sentence one. Even the best of the students find it difficult to crack. Now even makes sense. So even is basically a kind of an emphasis which demands some kind of comparison. So you would say that the COVID-19 has touched all the countries of the world. Even the developed ones are suffering heavily because of the virus. So even the developed ones basically means that you don't expect usually the developed ones to suffer, but even they are suffering. So for even to make sense, I must have something. Science cannot produce ideas by which we could live. And even the greatest ideas of science are nothing more than working hypothesis. So 4 and 5 in conjunction gives justification to sentence number 5. I hope this is clear to everyone. Why 4, 5 forms a logical pair. Clear or not clear? Yes, yes. Even always needs something to hook up to. It is almost a kind of a grammatical logic with which you have to connect even. है ना? So this is how it goes, correct? So that's why I always start with 4 and 5. Now explain 3. 3 says never has science been more triumphant. Triumphant means victorious. Never has man's power over his environment been more complete. So that means science has been victorious. Never has man's power of, see, when you see the word never, it is not a criticism. Never refers to time frame. Never have I worked so hard. इसका मतलब क्या है? Suppose if you say that never have I worked so hard, it means that this is the first time you are working so hard. So don't take the word never as a negative word. Never basically shows that something has not happened before. Maybe it is happening for the first time. So when you say that never has science been more triumphant, iska matlab this is the highest triumphant point of time. I mean of science. I hope this is clear to everyone. Never has man's power over his environment been more complete. Iska matlab ye hai ki this is the first time that man's power over his environment is so complete. है ना? आप suppose if you score 60 marks in CAT VARC mock test, you would say, so never have I performed so well. That means this is the first time something is happening. ठीक है? So is everyone clear about how the sequence goes from 4, 5, 1 and then 2 with a concluding idea and 3 becoming the slightly odd one out? What else would you pick? Clear to everyone? Yes or no? Please tell me, people. I can go ahead quickly then. Everyone is clear about it? So what do you see, people? It is what I have realized, and I'm trying to always address this question, that you have to pick the right question and you have to spend time on the right question. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं? When you pick the right question and spend time on the right question, the chances of your getting correct is very high. At the same time, you have to be slightly swift, because if you're very, very slow, that means in spite of being good, you may not be able to finish all the questions. समझ में आया? Now on similar lines, let's go and take the second question. This also is an odd sentence question. Now, please everyone try and tell me what is your answer. Let's give it a shot. So there's a stopwatch here and the time starts now. Everyone has given the answer. I want to see what others have to say, because some people had got the sheet before. क्या लग रहा है? So how would you jumble it? Because jumble also becomes very important, very interesting. Sometimes you will learn a lot. The way we learned in the earlier question, that for even to make sense, there must be some kind of contrast or some kind of emphasis, a kind of comparison. Contrast comparison kind of a sentence must be there for even to make sense. So in this case, what do you think is your sequence? So this is an easy question relatively, When you are very young, as you all are, you are full of energy, are you not? So this is the question. And then what comes next? You want to play, to rush about, to talk, you can't sit still, you are full of life. So you are full of energy. And see, the idea is that you want to play. So to play basically means you are young. So immediately you realize that if I put the word young and play together, then it makes complete sense. So 3 and 2 becomes a very simple connection. When you are young, as you all are, you are full of energy, are you not? You want to play, you want to rush about, to talk, you can't see, you are full of life. What happens then after that? Then what happens? So there must be something in sequence. What happens? And what happens is, as you grow up. So this growing up should come in the later stages, and in the young stage you do this, and in the later stage you do this, with 4 becoming the odd one out. So this kind of question can be cracked in less than 40 seconds. There will always be an easy question, people. Please understand this. See, if the paper is very difficult, it's going to be difficult for everyone. And what will happen as a result is that choice of question becomes very important. So it says, when you are young, you want to play, to rush about, you can't sit still, you're full of life. Then what happens? As you grow up, your teachers begin to curtail that energy by shaping it, directing it. What 4 says, human beings throughout the world, in every religion, in every school of thought, impose discipline on the mind, which implies control, resistance. That's fine, but this has nothing to do with the other 4 sentences which are going in one direction. It's not about just having an idea. It's about having an idea which is logically and grammatically connected with the other ideas. So you also have to look at the grammatical connection. That's why when I say words like however, moreover, even, these help us a lot in connecting 2 or more sentences. So here we have one more odd sentence. Please take it and give me your answers. Is it a bit difficult? How would you go with the sequence? It says the granddaughter of an entrepreneur. Who exactly is it referring to? It says relieving her marriage. So it has to refer to Iris Chase. Sorry. Correct? So how would it go ahead? You would say that Iris Chase, the woman who unravels her past across the pages of The Blind Assassin, is at first sight an improbable victim of history. So we have her narrative, we have she conjures up. So we know that the pronoun her, all the feminine gender pronouns must refer to the person Iris. And therefore 3 definitely would take lead and the others will follow. So you start with 3 saying that Iris Chase, the woman who unravels her past across the pages of The Blind Assassin, is at first sight an improbable victim of history, correct? So you start with 3. What will come next? The granddaughter of an entrepreneur or reliving her marriage to a tycoon? Which one do you think makes more sense? Is it 4 or is it 5 that makes sense? After 3, does 0.5 connect, or after 3, does 0.4 connect? Which one would you place as a writer? Because when you say the granddaughter of an entrepreneur, this is more of an introductory idea. See, when you describe yourself in an interview, you say that my name is so-and-so, I am from so-and-so, I have so-and-so people in my family. So you go to basically your own origins. So when you say that Iris Chase, the woman who unravels her past across the pages of The Blind Assassin, is at first sight an improbable victim of history. The granddaughter of an entrepreneur who built an empire out of the manufacture of buttons and cheap clothing, she has lived for the most part of her life cocooned from economic hardship. That means she has been kept away from economic hardship. Reliving her marriage to a tycoon with political ambition, she takes us into the sumptuous between the wars. So what is happening here is you describe the person है ना? And you say that she's a granddaughter of an entrepreneur, and then of course reliving her marriage. She takes us into the sumptuous between the wars world of the highly moneyed, the fur-draped fashions, the dinner parties, the Atlantic crossings on luxury liners. In her narrative, she conjures up the whimsical splendors of Avillion, the evocatively titled domain of her grandparents built in celebration of their new wealth and status, and the place where she spent her childhood. So it's quite possible that two might come somewhere before the others, but there is one direction clear in 5. So what do we see here? If you look at the sequence, 3 will definitely open, and the granddaughter of an entrepreneur who built an empire out of the manufacture of buttons and chips. So she's cocooned from economic hardship. So 5 can come later on. And then it says here in her narrative, she conjures up the whimsical splendors of Avillion, evocatively titled domain of. See, to arrange the sequence, it might be slightly challenging. 3, 5, 2, 4 is right. It could be 3, 5, 2, 4, but definitely 1 is the odd one out. Don't you feel it that 1 is definitely the odd one out? Why do you feel that it is standing out of the others? What do you think that 1 will be the odd one out and the others can't be the odd one out? Correct? Tell me, why do you think that this is likely to be the odd one out? So when you suppose if you start with 1, The Blind Assassin is the novel that has won this year's Booker Prize. So you will start with 1, correct? And then you will say Iris Chase, the woman who unravels her past across the pages of. See, the problem is that the book has, The Blind Assassin has won this year's Booker Prize. And then you say Iris Chase, the woman who unravels her past across the pages of The Blind Assassin, is at first cited improv victim history. Now, the problem is that when you start with 1 and you go to 3, there is a bit of, yes, there is a bit of abruptness, because the achievement of the book is one thing, and the theme and what is happening within the book is a slightly different story altogether. See, I have to pick one sentence. Which is the odd one out. So after going through 2, 3, 4, 5, I feel the best bet is 1. Because if I pick any other sentence, then that sentence is far more closely connected with the other sentences. So when you say that Iris Chase is unraveling her past across the pages of The Blind Assassin, that means basically she's trying to talk about her past. So what is her past? Her past is her childhood. Her past is that she was cocooned from economic hardship. Her past is that she's reliving her marriage to a young tycoon. So when I look at statement 2, statement 4, statement 5, they all talk about the past of a person. So 3 is far more connected with the other 3 sentences. That is 3, 5, 4, 2, whatever the order, that's a different thing. But 3, 5, 4, 2 is one unit. Whereas the achievement of the book, The Blind Assassin in the novel, is a novel that has won this year's Booker Prize. So you're talking about the book and it has won the Booker Prize. It was one of the strongest contenders. There were many other books which came very close, but none was so good as The Blind Assassin. This is what you should mention when you talk about the Booker Prize. I hope you're getting why 1 is the only choice which can be the best one as the odd one out. Is it clear to everyone or not? Because there are many such questions coming in the mocks. But the problem is you can't look at sentences in isolation. Yeah, it's quite possible one fine day I might be able to fit 1 as well. But if I have to pick a choice, I will pick 1, or else I would say this is a parajumble question. I hope you are following this, in which I would place 1 at the start and I will take 3, 5, 4, 2 in sequence. Everyone is following this. So this is a slightly challenging question, but I would say that if you have to mark, you have to mark only 1. And I was going through one time paper today and I found a very similar question had come, in which the only option that you can choose is this one, even though it sounds like it can fit in with the others, but this is the only one that I would choose because slightly odd than the others. Okay? A very simple paragraph summary question. Why does option 2 come after 4? Option 2 come after sentence 2 coming after 4 नहीं, actually क्या होगा ना, see, understand, I might have made a mistake in the arrangement. When you say Iris chase across the pages of Blind Assassin, see, this is the Blind Assassin, correct? So uh, technically speaking, I have to put a inverted commas here because this is the name of a book, or I have to put this in bold or in italics. So when you put the name of the book, then her narrative would be the name of the book. Okay. So I would say that 3-2 can also be one probable. Iris Chase, the woman who unravels her past across the pages of The Blind Assassin, is at first sight an improbable victim history. In her narrative, she conjures up the whimsical. So Iris Chase is unraveling her past. So the narrative has to be of Iris Chase. And what is that narrative? That narrative is the blind assassin because she is the one who is unraveling the past. In a narrative, she conjures up the whimsical splendors of Avilion, the evocatively titled domain of her grandparents, her childhood. It could be either 3-2 or 3-5. ठीक है, हो सकता है कि you can have multiple sequences, and this happens with most of the odd sentence questions because we don't look at the ordering in that case. So when we are designing questions on parajumbles, we definitely look at the ordering, that there is only one sequence possible. But when we design questions on odd sentences, we don't look at the ordering part of it. We look at the one that does not fit into the sequence. समझ में आया कि नहीं? So sometimes there may not be a strict sequence per se, but generally what happens that in most of the cases, you get the right answer. Clear to everyone? Can we go to the next one now? Okay. So we have taken 3 odd sentences questions. You feel that the second one was very easy. The first one was slightly lengthy, but could have been managed. And this one also could have been managed. Slightly difficult, I would say, but then okay. So at least you could have managed 2 questions in a span of, let's say, 7-8 minutes. Okay, this is how you, then after the end, you will say, Chalo, bhai, how much could I have done? How many questions could I have done in this set of 10 questions? This is a summary question, and please read the passage and tell me what do you think is your answer. So Praveen, Dolly have given their answers. Shaurya has given his answer. I want the others to participate. Please participate, people. I want answers from everyone. There are almost 60 students sitting here now. So everyone has to come up with their answers. Greece has both natural and cultural assets, but it has lacked in infrastructure, be it inadequate or unsuitable public transport from the airport or poor service at a restaurant or in a shop. So what is the first sentence trying to communicate? That Greece has natural and cultural assets, but it lacks in infrastructure. Kya kya hai usme? That's a different thing. Representatives from across the sector of the Greek tourism industry, hoteliers, restaurant owners, travel agents, tour bus operators, tour ferry guides have long touted the problems they have faced. So there is infra problem and many people have communicated this. Okay? From its first day in government, the New Democracy indicated its intention to address these problems. And in the first few months it has been in power, it has already gone beyond simply stating its intentions and has actually begun to do something. So you can divide this paragraph into 2 or 3 parts, correct? Divide this into 2 or 3 parts. The first is that Greece has good natural and cultural assets. There is problem of infra and people have communicated this, and the new government is doing something. So broadly speaking, it has 3 different points: the new government, the problem of the infra, and having the cultural and natural assets. So if I can put everything in one sentence, then I think it's a good summary. So you have to look for an option that is capturing everything. Okay, so one says Greece is a major tourist attraction, albeit plagued by basic transportation facilities and poor services, which are being addressed by the new order. So the new order is what? The new order is the new government. A major tourist attraction. So when you say it is a major tourist attraction, it is not wrong. Why? Because it has natural and cultural assets, and therefore it's a tourism industry. It's implied. There is no need for you to mention both the natural and cultural assets and also the Greek tourism industry. So when you read tourism and all these 2 things, that means basically Greece is a major tourist attraction. So there is nothing wrong with this first part. Okay. 2 says the fact that the basic amenities are lacking is detrimental to tourism. What about Greece? What about the new government? What about, I mean, lots of things are missing in statement 2. So I don't see it to be a better choice than 1. 3 says the new democracy is alive to the problems being faced by the tourism industry and has already initiated steps to rectify them. ठीक है, मतलब I can say that this is not giving me anything extra. This is not giving any kind of distortion. But do you think it is better than 1? So it is 1 versus 3. What does your क्या बोलते हैं, what does your gut feeling says if you look at both the choices? Of course, Greece is missing, so that is one very important thing. The new democracy is alive. The new democracy where? In India. Okay, that is one point, but at the same time, people see you should also mention about something called as this part of the passage, particularly the Greece being 3 is giving you half the idea. I mean, that is one problem with yes. See, when you are given 2 choices, you can't say that one is using too many words. See, if 1 is equal to 3 in content, then I would choose 3. I hope you realize this. If 1 is equal to 3 in content, then I would choose 3. But if 1 is giving me more inputs in terms of the detailing, then I would choose 1. Because what has come in 1 is that it is a tourist attraction plagued by lack of basic transportation facility. The new democracy, thoda sa gadbad hai ye. I hope you realize why 1 is better than 3. The Olympics is not the discussion here, so 4 goes out. So 1 is the best choice out of all that we have. Yes or no? How do we know it is a major attraction or not? I mean, वो तो खैर है ही अब, I mean, it's Greece has both natural, cultural assets like infrastructure. Representatives from across the sector of the Greek हाँ वो एक है. See, that is you know, it has lacked in infrastructure, है ना. अब ठीक है, वो it says plagued by lack of basic transportation and poor services, है ना. It says here that be it inadequate transport, poor service in restaurant. So what basically the passage talks about is infrastructure from tourism perspective. है कि नहीं? Infrastructure in tourism from tourism perspective. So that is lack of basic transportation and poor service. So either you use the word infrastructure or you either use the word transportation facilities and poor service. Whichever way you look at it, 1 is better than 3. अब वो मेजर नहीं है, अब ठीक है, ग्रीस इज अ टूरिस्ट अट्रैक्शन. नहीं, 3 is not properly worded. See, understand this. You also have to take the wording into account. If you remember when you went for your vivas in your engineering colleges, the teachers always said, give me the right word. How many of you have experienced this? When the teacher asked you something, you always gave, but you were very close to the answer, but you never used the right word. And the teacher used to say, you know, you're not giving me the right word. Do you remember that? In the viva voce, in the orals, they always said that you give me the right word. है ना? That means the right word matters. You just cannot put anything. So the point is that, first of all, I don't have Greece. And secondly, the new democracy, kahan ka new democracy hai ye? The new democracy of what? Of which country? Sudan or India or Pakistan? So you are haphazardly putting anything. That is not the way to summarize. I hope you're getting this point. There has to be a logic and also completeness in what you summarize and the way you summarize. Whichever way you look at it, it is option 3 is lacking both in content and also in proper framing of the idea, which makes option 1 a better choice. I hope you realize all these factors. You just cannot haphazardly put the new democracy is alive to the problems being faced by the tourism industry. The word Greece has to come. I hope this is clear to everyone. Yes or no? So let's go and take the next one now. And on similar lines, I want everyone to take this question. Maybe slightly challenging. Kabhi kabhar questions are not up to the mark. I do realize that sometimes questions are, sir, infrastructure doesn't include only transportation. Nahi, wo to khair diya hua hai. He has explained, you know. Karan has asked a good question. He says, sir, infrastructure, dekho, is it infrastructure, and what is happening here? The author is explaining what he means by infrastructure. Because infrastructure is a very broad term. It can include soft infrastructure, hard infrastructure. It can include road and electricity and law and order. I mean, the word infrastructure is a very, very generic term. So what the author has done here, he tries to define the word infrastructure in the sense what exactly he means by the word infra. He says what? Public transportation and poor service. So for him, the infrastructure technically is restricted to only two things. One is the transportation and the other is the services. That's it. So you can't take the word infrastructure very broadly in this case. समझ में आया कि नहीं Karan? And that is what is happening in option 1. He says that transportation and poor services. If you say नहीं sir यहाँ पे hotel भी लिखो ना, इसका मतलब the summary would be equal to the actual passage in size. I mean then everything would have to be inserted. I hope this is clear. Infrastructure does not include, of course, that is the general sense. We don't include only transportation in infrastructure. But here, in the context in which the writer has used, it has to be only transportation and services. Okay? Please take this question. So Shaurya has given 2 as the answer. Mohit has come with 4. Khushbu and Dolly have come with 2. What about the others? I see only 7 to 8 people answering. The rest are just relaxing. Please participate, people. There's a difference between doing and listening. So when you listen too much, you become averse to doing. समझ में आ रहा है ना? That is the biggest of the problem with most of the students. Because when you do, there is challenge, but when you listen, there is passiveness. है ना? Everyone wants to have good food, but no one wants to cook for that. बना बनाया आ जाए कितना खाने मजा आएगा ना? So people don't develop this habit of just studying. You have to solve as well. क्या लग रहा है? Everyone is giving. Most of them have given 2 as the answer. Let's read the passage. This generation of young people are far less likely to be able to learn how to make decisions when on their own, how to act responsibly, and how to assess the motives of those they do not know. They are less likely to be able to have adventures, extend personal frontiers, be mischievous. So you know what is happening here is, I think the author is unnecessarily giving you too much of detail. In simple words, he wants to say that this generation of young people are less likely to be able to learn how to take decisions on their own, how to act responsibly. They are less likely to be able to have adventures, extend personal frontiers, be mischievous, learn directly. I mean, lots of things. These are all essential components. So in the end, what he says, these are all essential components of becoming responsible citizens. So you want to say basically that today's generation of young people are less likely to display the qualities that are required to become responsible citizens. So rather than making all these stories, if you summarize that, you will say, ha, sir, today's generation of young people are less likely to display what? The qualities. So when you say that, what are those qualities? Should we mention those qualities? I mean, see, there is no need to mention. When you say that people are not displaying the qualities that are required to become responsible citizens, that means basically they run away from duty, they are not helpful, they are less adventurous. You can put all those things. Yes, what you have done is basically you have crisply said that you don't have the qualities required to become responsible citizen. Now that could be 1, 2, 3, 400 qualities. I did not mention all the qualities. It could be from X to Y. So ठीक 2 looks good on the surface. One says the young people of today are less helpful, lazier, and far more immature than the young men of previous generations. ठीक है, helpful, lazy. What about immature? Is it the immaturity part which has come in the passage? Because the moment you put a word, you have to go and justify. Yes, immaturity. How would you fit immaturity in this context here? They don't act responsibly and they are less likely to have adventures, extend personal frontiers and contribute to family and community by shopping. ठीक है, मतलब lazier. Yes, what do you think? Do you think that these two words are really relevant to what is being discussed? अरे यार, mischievous is a childish. What the author is saying is less likely to be mischievous. That means he wants to be mischievous. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं? When you say that they are less likely to be mischievous, that means that he wants them to be mischievous. Summary का मतलब है have a broader word for specific words. Summary का मतलब क्या होता है? If there are 10, 20 different specific words, create a broad word for them. You have summarized that way. So the word mischievous is desirable as per the passage. Did you understand this? Yes, people, I hope you're following this. The word mischievous or the quality mischievous is desirable or not desirable as per the author. They are less likely to be able to have adventures, extend personal frontiers, be mischievous. That means basically the author wants that, yes, I want you to be mischievous. So when you say that they are far more immature, I think even in that way, you're not capturing. So I think that too is the best. Citizens who are irresponsible are less likely to make decisions on their own, less likely to help others. It is not about citizens. It's about this young generation. Careless and self-centered. I mean, again, you're putting words which are not really. So I think 2 is the best choice. Yes or no? See, if you pick 1, then why not 3? Then why not 4? So every option is giving something unnecessary in the question, unnecessary in the passage or in the option. Young men of today are less adventurous, mischievous, and don't know how to act responsibly under adverse conditions. Adversity, yes. Where is adversity? This is a very generic scenario. The generation of young people are far less likely to be able to learn in general. ठीक है? I hope you are following this. देखो यार, वो तो एक बहुत सी you men, young people, men, that's fine, you know. Young people, I mean, when you say young people, you're not referring to children below the age of 10 years. Because when you talk about responsibly, when you talk about extending personal frontiers, self-esteem, you're talking about young people in the sense people who are adult. So whether you use young people or young men, that's fine. That's not a bone of contention. The bone of contention is words like adverse condition, as if you're specifically talking about adverse condition, as if you really have immaturity in mind, but we don't have these things, correct? So it's better to be generic than to use specific words which have no connection with what is given in the passage. I hope this is clear to everyone. Yes or no? Yes, people. Now there is a question here. I would decrease the size here. I hope you all can read. Is it visible or should I? Is it visible? आप सही लग रहा है? The problem is that you will not be able to see the 4th choice. But then, ठीक है, start solving the question. Once the 4th choice comes, I will scroll the sheet. The major schools of philosophy in antiquity: Platonism, Stoicism. See, people, many of you would be scared of these terms: Platonism, Stoicism, Aristotelianism, and my favorite Epicureanism address the question of the good life directly. So there is no need for you to worry about these terms. You simply say that the major schools of philosophy in antiquity. Antiquity means ancient age. Okay. So the major schools of philosophy in antiquity, these are the names given by the author. They address the question of good life directly. Okay. The philosophers all subscribe to an ideal of life according to nature, by which they meant both human and non-human nature. While disagreeing among themselves about what that entailed. Their original writings, most of them widely accessible, readable, and thought-provoking, remain a resource not just for philosophy students and specialists, but for everyone interested in the topics of nature, society, and well-being. Now, this looks like a slightly intimidating passage, but see, understand people, when you see something which is having lots of technical and difficult words, you can always go through the passage again. So the author says that major schools, I will scroll the sheet, don't worry, I have to read this passage first. It says major schools in antiquity, such as A, B, C, D, E, lots of names are given. They address the question of good life directly. Okay? The philosopher all subscribe to an ideal of life according to nature. So good life according to them, life according to nature, by which they meant both human and non-human nature. Their original writings, most of them widely accessible, are thought-provoking, and they remain a source for everyone interested in the topics of nature. So these schools of philosophy, they address the question of life and what it meant, and their writings are a good source for someone who is interested in well-being in society. Okay? So all positive things about these schools of philosophy is what the author says. Now look at the options and tell me which one do you think is very close to what is given. So 4 says all the major schools of philosophy of antiquity address the question of good life directly, though with slight disagreements on what exactly they meant by life according to nature. All the major schools of philosophy of antiquity. So it looks good. 4th looks good. All the major schools of philosophy of antiquity address the question of life directly, though with slight disagreements on what exactly they meant by life according to nature. Okay. 3, though the philosophers from the major schools of philosophy of in antiquity might have some disagreements on life according to nature, most of the schools address the question of good life directly. And their original writings, this is very important. Why? Because option 4 talks about this part is one set of idea and this part is the other set of idea. This set says that the major schools of philosophy of antiquity talked about life according to nature. They might have some disagreements on this. And the second part talks about their writings, which the author says is a good source for those who are interested in studying philosophy of nature and all this. So option 3 precisely captures that. It says that there was some disagreement, but they all talked about life according to nature, and their original writings are a good source for people interested in nature, society, and well-being. So I feel definitely 3 is better than 4. You can look at the other options. It says the major schools of philosophy addressed the question of good life directly, and their original writings, though little complex and difficult to understand. Is this given that their original writings are complex and difficult to understand? Please look at this. Their original writings is widely accessible and readable. So if the writings are widely accessible and readable, then why should you say that it is complex and difficult to understand? So ये तो पक्का बाहर जाएगा ना? So 1 definitely can go out. 2 says the major modern day schools of philosophy. We're not talking about modern day. It's about antiquity. So 2 also goes out. People, when you're in summary question, option comparison is very important. And secondly, you have to understand to some extent what the passage is communicating. If you have difficulty understanding the passage in 2 readings, you just skip it for a while. Because if the passage understanding is not clear, the chances are that you would not be able to summarize what exactly has come in the passage, unless the option helps you. So read the passage, you should have some understanding of it, and then look at the options. If the options are quite straightforward, you can go ahead and solve the question, or else you say, boss, theek hai, isko baad mein aata hu. Choosing the question is very important, people. I hope this is clear to everyone. 3 is the best choice among all the given choices. Agree or disagree? So far we have done only 4 questions. but no problem with that. Everyone is clear about it. Elimination process. How much time should we spend on one paragraph? See, when I would say that on an average, you should spend around two minutes. Nahi hua to koi baat nahi. See, people, you can experiment lots of things in the exam. It's not that every question will take 2 minutes. A question might take 3 minutes. A question might take 1 minute. So if I average out everything, I think on an average, you should take 2 minutes per question. समझ में आया कि नहीं? The question which looks outrightly difficult and abstruse and difficult to read, you just leave it and come to that question after you have finished all the easy ones. You can keep on trying different strategies in the exam, and it's quite possible that you might stumble upon one and you say, this is what is working for me. So you just take a strategy, go with a mock in which you simply do those that you can solve. So whatever you feel like easy hai to main karunga, nahi easy chhod dunga. Then in some cases you go with 50-50 guesswork as well and see like what exactly works for you. Okay. This is the parajumble question. I have used A, B, C, D, E. Okay, but no problem. We can replace A with 1 and so on and so forth. Okay. Which one do you think? Please try to create. Now 5 sentences we don't have in parajumble these days, but in CAT 2017 we had 5 sentences. So be ready with 5 sentences as well. Okay. How would you start this paragraph? 1, 2, 5, 4, 3. In the old joke tales, the targets are mocked for their slowness, for being unable to understand simple rules and necessary for a successful life or other characteristics. Foreigners are in clear minority. In Estonian old folk jokes and early punchline jokes, targets are peripheral groups with funny speech and perceived backwardness. Stupidity is majority and there are several targets which vary in different regions. Yes, looks difficult, right? In one go. It looks difficult in one go because apparently it's not very clear. So when I say in the, can you just start like this? In the old joke tales. Yes, people. So in the old joke tales and in Estonian old folk jokes. So what you do here is you basically say that in the old joke tales, the targets are mocked for their slowness, for being unable to understand the simple rules necessary for a successful life. In the Estonian old folk jokes and early punchline jokes, targets are peripheral groups with funny speech and perceived backwardness. General to specific. Yes. So you start with A, no doubt about it. And from A, then you go to something which is more specific. So in the old joke tales, the targets are mocked for their slowness, for being unable to understand simple rules. Stupid jokes are the majority and there are several targets which vary in different regions. So can I say this different regions? Acha, now you have a link. Slightly difficult question, but now you have a link. See what happens. Targets are peripheral. Targets. Okay? Did you understand this, people? Targets vary in different regions. In Estonian, the targets are peripheral groups. Can I say ED is a pair? Can I say 5-4 is a pair? Yes or no? I have struck a pair immediately now. See, in exam, I would leave this question. People understand. In exam, I would leave this question because it is really giving me pain. But if I'm not in the exam, I would try to have fun. है ना? Fun कैसे होगा? Stupidity jokes are in the majority and there are several targets which vary in different regions. In Estonian old folk jokes, मतलब Estonia country है एक, ठीक है? In Estonia, the targets are peripheral groups. Can I say 5-4 is a pair? Targets are peripheral groups with funny speech and perceived backwardness. And their voice is usually more specific than just universal stupidity. So 4-5-5-4 is definitely a pair, and one can come at the start. Correct? Now it is about 1-5-4-2-3 or 3-2. That is the challenge. 1-5-4, either it could be 3-2 or it could be 2-3. Correct? So are you feeling all right with 1-5-4? Now the bone of contention is 3-2 or 2-3. Now, what is they referring to? Can I say it is referring to targets? I will come to that. So what it says here, their voice is usually more specific than just universal stupidity. Foreigners are in clear minority and limited to those who have had direct contact with Australian natives. Oh, peripheral groups hai na? Targets are peripheral groups with funny speech and perceived backwardness. So when you say that it is a peripheral group, that means it is basically not from the mainstream Estonian people, they are outsiders. So CB or BC, I'm not very clear because I think sometimes it is CB makes more sense. Hai na? Yes, people, don't you think 2-3 makes more sense? I will come to the pairing first. The way 5-4 makes sense, does 2-3 make sense? Yes or no? It makes sense. You know why it makes sense? Targets are, what is a peripheral group, people do? What do you mean a peripheral group? What is the meaning of the word peripheral group? Peripheral group is not in the mainstream, right? So suppose if you go and settle down in Kenya, then you would be more of a peripheral group, a foreigner, correct? So in Estonian old jokes, targets are peripheral groups with funny speech and perceived backwardness. Okay? Foreigners are in clear minority and limited to those who have had direct contact with Estonian natives. Their voice is usually more specific than just universal stupidity. So their voice refers to what? The foreigner's voice. I mean, that's the reason why they are mocked. So apparently it starts with 1, goes to 5, then goes to 4, and then 2-3 makes sense. Nahi, their voice is more, see, stupidity jokes are in the majority. Did you understand this? Stupidity jokes are in the majority. But what is happening in the case of foreigners is that it is not the stupidity, but it is something that is beyond stupidity. And what is that? Funny speech and perceived backwardness. So difficult lag raha hai, right? I think it's a difficult question. And it's difficult. It's really taking lots of time. Why can't it be 4-5? See, it has to be the targets. There are several targets which vary in different regions. So different regions basically means the target would vary from region to region. In Estonia, the targets are peripheral groups. So E is a broader statement and D is less broad statement. समझ में आया कि नहीं? So 5-4 is definitely a pair. Now when you ask me why not 3-2, foreigners are in clear. I think it is, I don't know, sometimes I feel CB is creating a problem here. ठीक है, 1 आएगा, 5 will come here. नहीं, 5 and 4 would come together, Anurup. 5-4 will definitely be a pair. Because I have to keep in mind that stupidity jokes are in the majority and there are several targets which vary in different regions. And then I go and say that in Estonia, the targets are peripheral groups. समझ में आया कि नहीं? So there is no doubt about E and D. 5 and 4 is definitely a pair. Because you are talking about the fact that stupidity jokes are in majority and there are several targets which varies upon different regions. In Estonia, the targets are peripheral groups. So what is happening in D, it is serving as an example of what is mentioned in E. That stupidity jokes are in the majority and there are several targets which vary in different regions. In Estonian old jokes, you have targets as peripheral groups with funny speech and perceived backwardness. And these groups, their voice is more specific than just universal stupidity. So I'm having trouble with, I hope this is clear to everyone. This is a problem. CB is a problem, whether we should have C first or B first or B first or C first. ये खाली problem है. Baki we know that 154 is a pair. There is no doubt about it. I mean, it is one-sided affair. Old joke tales right across the world. It varies. The target varies from region to region. In Estonia, the targets are peripheral groups. And then you go to foreigners. So basically CBBC is थोड़ा सा उसमें issue है. So I hope this is clear to everyone. Slightly difficult question and I'm not very sure, but I think the answer given is 154. 154. नहीं, their जो है ना यहाँ पर their voice is more specific than just universal stupidity. So here, you know why it is stupidity jokes are in the majority, but their voice is more specific. Whose voice is more specific? It is the gypsies, Russians, Germans, and Jews because they have a funny speech, and that's why they are target of old jokes. समझ में आया कि नहीं? तो होना क्या चाहिए? 154, correct? 154 will be the right sequence, and then mostly I think it would be 3 and 2. I mean, this is where I feel, but then I will have to check. Okay? I hope the logic is clear to you. I hope. Our 3 to 2 3 थोड़ा issue है. Difficult question, but I think this is how it is. I'm not very clear as to how these two will proceed because ये थोड़ा सा issue है. But anyways, let's just leave it here for a while and let's go and take the next question, because when we spend too much time on one question, easy question, this one, please try this one. A, B, C, D, 4 sentences. You can crack it. Everyone 1 3 2 4. Yes, 1 3 2 4. Everyone is giving 1 3 2 4. Laughter stands for different phenomena in narration. It communicates emotions both in concealing and a revealing way. So what could it refer to here? Laughter. So laughter stands for different phenomena in narration. It communicates emotions both in a concealing and a revealing way. One way of studying these in narration is by analyzing. So 1 3 is a pair, right? So after 1 3, what should come? Narrators can underline the standpoint in the narrative in many ways, such as comments, evaluation, style, and one way of studying these in narration is by analyzing. So these क्या है यहाँ पर? Is it B? It communicates emotions both in a concealing and revealing way. Correct? So laughter stands for different phenomena in narration. It communicates emotions both in a concealing and a revealing way. So understand this, people, that there is direct comment, there is embedding of evaluation, there is style of telling, there is metaphor, there is strong adjective, and there is facial expression. So all these 4 5 elements, they have a concealing way and they have a revealing way. So can I say that 3 and 2 form a pair? Yes or no? Everyone is clear about it? Because when you say that laughter communicates emotions in a concealing and revealing way, then you are giving me lots of examples, which are examples of concealment and revelation. Facial expression is a concealing way, but direct comment is a revealing way. And one way of studying these in narration is by analyzing the use of humor, irony, paralinguistic device such as chuckles, laughter. So when you want to understand these things, you have to learn about these things. Can I say that 4 is the proper ending and 1, 3, 2, 4 is the light sequence? Everyone agrees with this. I think a question that you should have solved and you should have got correct. Now this is what I mean by a doable question, and the earlier one was an example of a difficult question. So we always have this understanding that whenever you get a feeling that ye ho sakta hai, immediately solve it. That is where you will score. For example, we could have endlessly discussed question number 7. We could have endlessly discussed it. But the problem is, if you discuss things endlessly, then you are not only wasting your own time, but you are getting disturbed as well. Hai ki nahi? So you have to, that's what I said at the start, you have to avoid getting disturbed. Because the moment you get disturbed in the exam, you are spoiling your complete paper. That is what happens with people who are a potential 98 percentilers, but they say, sir, mera dimag kharab ho gaya, main 78 la paya. ठीक है? Look at this now, such a long, despite arguments. Now, again, if you read the sentences, look at the length of the sentences. Look at the length of this sentence. There is not a single sentence which is short. So in effect, this question will take more time. I mean, you might solve it, that's a different thing. But if I'm attempting this in the exam, my focus has to be to just wait for a while and take the next one. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं? Now ये हो सकता है ना? Did you understand the strategy part? The strategy part is that what appears to be short should be attempted first. And what appears to be complicated and lengthy should be, देखो यार, इसको आप करो कि क्या फायदा होने वाला है? इसके आगे भी तो है ना? So if my paper gets over within 55 minutes, I will come to this question and try कि हाँ चलो इसको भी देख लेते हैं. Otherwise, you would end up spending 3 minutes. The chances are that you will get it wrong. I have deliberately given this question because I want to tell you that when you see these kind of complications, boss, tata bye bye, आगे बढ़ो. Now see. Again, an easier question. Please tell me, can you solve this? Please give me your answer, everyone. This looks easy to me. To me, it looks easy. Finally, next. Oh, all these beautiful words to help me crack the question in less than 2 minutes. Though it has 5 sentences, it is not a difficult question. So Khushbu and Dolly have given their sequence. Aditya has given his sequence. I want others to participate. The word finally, the word next give you enough clue to go ahead and nail this question. है ना? तो कैसे करेंगे ये? It was a lovely summer day 5 years ago and I went with my mother to my uncle's house. Look at the introduction. I mean, there is no need for us to tell you that this is an introductory sentence. है कि नहीं? It was a lovely summer day 5 years ago and I went with my mother to my uncle's house. What happened? Finally, I was lucky. You can't say that I went, I was lucky. So this is, you see, you know, that ending nahi ho raha hai theek se. So I stayed there for half an hour and began to go back to the house. किसे घर पे जा रहे थे आप? Are you mad? That you reach the house and then again you go back to the house. So what looks good now after 5? It was a lovely morning. I went to my mother's to my uncle's house. I went with my cousin to play basketball. So my cousin saw his friends and asked me to wait for him. I stayed there for half an hour. Finally, I was lucky because I found my cousin. है कि नहीं? Yes, a simple story goes in a beautiful way. है कि नहीं? So most of you would have said, अरे यार, देखो क्या होता है पता है एग्जाम में? 5, 4, 2, 1, 3 is an easy question. Let's not discuss कि अरे सर कुछ ऐसा हो सकता है क्या? I mean, this is a very simple question. A story, right? A story. Now, what is a bad strategy? A bad strategy would be to miss this question. A bad strategy would be to completely miss this question. Miss का मतलब क्या होता है? मैंने देखा ही नहीं. I didn't even see the question. Now that is a problem. Because if you don't even see the question, that means you would never know whether this was easy or difficult. And the reason why you could not see the question was because you spent so much time here that you eventually forgot that there is one more question and you lost too much time here. You spoiled your mood, you lost your time, and you actually frustrated yourself. You take this baggage in the next section as well, which is the, I think, the alert section, whichever it might be. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं? So what do you learn from this? That whenever you see something which is lengthy, boring, dull, you leave it for a while. I don't say that leave it in the paper itself. हो सकता है 10th वाला भी ऐसे, हो सकता है 9th वाला भी ऐसे हो, अरे एक दो तो मिलेगा ना करने लायक. So it is very important that you attack those which look doable and you leave those which don't look doable. Eventually, if you are smart enough, you would end up getting all the questions, touching all the questions. Everyone is following the strategy part now. Yes or no? Clear? Yes, people, everyone. ठीक है? So this is what you have to do in the exam. So next time I will take real time mock, maybe time or IMS, and I will show you कि ये strategy काम करेगी. ठीक है? So that's it for the day. I know it's a tiring session, but let's not study so much that we are burnt out, not burnt. So that's it for the day. I hope if you have doubts, people just drop in the group, I will answer it. And next time we will have RC again. Okay? So we will keep on doing like RC, VA, RC, and try to learn as much as possible. Okay? Thanks everyone, and please implement what you are studying. So that way it will be of great help. Okay? So thanks a lot everyone. Bye-bye. Thanks Abhishek. Thanks everyone.